bringing you the best Eagles basketball coverage. This is Screecher Report.
What's up, and welcome into another Screecher Report podcast. This is episode 54 coming at you. Tonight, we just witnessed a really fun game, Canisius and FGCU men's hoops. A really fun game. We're going to get to that a bit more. But first of all, I got to tell you, this is Russell Kelly on the mic. I'm here with Elliott Cressy and Dawson Jordan. We're at full strength tonight. And I want to get some insight from Dawson because this man has been to a bunch of home games, this man has been to a bunch of away games this year, really exciting ones.
More than home games.
He's been to more away games than home games this year, actually. This was his first home game. It's a weird schedule this year. But anyways, Dawson, tell us about some of those away games you were at and what that was like.
So, yeah, it's been a very interesting start to the year. Way more interesting than the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years. Tonight was my first home game, which is crazy to me. I have friends in LA. I lived in LA. I went to the USC game and witnessed that win in firsthand, and it was incredible. The stadium, the Gallon Center, did not like me. I had half-court seats, like 2 rows up. It was great. I had my bright green shirt on in a sea of red. Shout out Caleb Catto. Hooked me up with those tickets, and it was just a great time. And we got that dub, and I was pleasantly surprised. So fast forward 2 weeks after that, I used to live in Knoxville. So I went to that game, the UT game, Tennessee game. Wasn't quite as exciting, and we got destroyed, but, it was a good time nonetheless. But, yeah, so I've been to more away games than home games this year, which is kind of crazy. But it's been a blast, and I'm really loving this team so far this year. Really think that, Pat Chambers is really kind of turning this program around, and, kind of like we've been saying this all year, but broken record, but I think things are looking up. It's been so awesome. And of course, the first game I come home to as a home game, I starting to get a little bit scared on how close it was tonight, but we pulled out the dub.
Yeah, tonight's game was a little bit closer than I think we all wanted to see. But give it credit to is it Canisius or Canisius? I'm not sure. I've heard both, but anyways, they played a really, really good game. You could say our defense wasn't on par or up to snuff, but I think they just shot lights out and made for a really good game. I still think we played really well. I didn't really see too many faults in our play other than maybe the defense was, not guarding the perimeter because they hit at least 12 threes. Half their points were threes. Made for a fun finish, though. I mean, end of the day, end of the night, we got a dub to end the non-conference play at 10-3, going into the New Year's Eve game against who? Jacksonville on December 31st at home. So, I mean, I couldn't ask for much more at this point. You look at our losses, 3 losses. One was to Tennessee, one was to San Diego, and the other was to FAU. The only one that I think we should have won was San Diego, and I think you guys would agree. I think FAU has actually had a really good year. I don't know what the record is now, but at the time they were on a 6 or 5 game winning streak. They beat Florida. They've been showing out, and then Tennessee obviously is ranked in the top 10, I believe, still, and they're a really good team. So, take away the San Diego loss. I mean, we're doing really well. I hope we bring it into conference play, the same energy, same attitude.
11-1.
Who's that? FAU is 11-1 per Dawson, which is really, really good. So they must be they got to be, I'm not going to say close to the top 25, but definitely I guess in the mid-major. I don't know if they're considered a mid-major, but 11-1's good. Your thoughts, Russell?
Yeah, I mean, in general for this season, we off pod we've had a discussion about kind of our feelings toward our confidence, I guess, meter in the team, heading into conference play, and it's hard not to be super optimistic. 10-3 with big wins and really exciting play, and it still sort of feels like the team's not even where it's going to be. We hear that all the time. Every team's going to be saying that, but just this team is still like gelling in a way, and at the same time, every night it could be one of like 7 dudes who's leading the team in scoring, and that has maintained, whether win or loss. So, like you said, the Tennessee loss was just nasty. Like it was just a bad game to watch. San Diego game's the one we wanted to win. FAU being as good as they are, I still don't like the fact that we lost by over 30 to a team like FAU. That's not. It was 85-53. It was a terrible game, and that's just weird. I don't care how good FAU is. I don't want that to ever happen. At the same time, wins over other mid-major programs. It's looking good. It's optimistic. I think player-specific, it's going to be really fun to see how Zach Anderson can continue his just ascent into just being the main dog on the team. Like there's Isaiah Thompson might have something to say about that because he's definitely one of the leading contributors. Chase Johnston can go off at any moment and does so much more than score as well, which is something I didn't really know about his game until watching him play. But Zach Anderson has been so damn good. He can guard 1 through 5. We know that, and he's just his development offensively. He can really do anything. He can post up. He can shoot. His improvement at the free throw line has been amazing. So there's a lot of guys, who could continue to take the reins, sort of, and emerge, and plenty of guys to fall back on, like a Caleb Cato, who's like I had mentioned again off pod earlier that I don't care if he scores 2 points or 20 points in a game. Like, he's contributing in some way, whether it's on the stat sheet or not. And that's, things like that are just why I think all of us are confident in this team heading into conference play.
Yeah, for sure. You said it best. I mean, any one guy can be that guy. That's kind of what I've seen as the motto or whatever word I'm searching for this first half of the season. You've seen Chase Johnston lead all scorers. You've seen Isaiah Thompson lead all scorers. You've seen Zach Anderson lead all scorers. But then you've seen major contributions from Andre Weir, and he had a great game tonight, even though it was 10 points, 5 rebounds. But it was that second half spurt that he kind of ignited. Zach Anderson had the clutch 3 at the end. Dakota Rivers had the clutch block to seal the deal. Every guy is contributing something special, and that's what's really fun to watch. Demir Bishop had a quiet night tonight, but everyone's had a quiet night at this point thus far. One of the games, it's just everyone's stepping up when they need to step up, and that's what makes a good team.
So can we talk about how we're talking about all these players and how good this team's doing, and Cyrus Largy hasn't played in the past 5 games? Because of injury. I don't know details around how long it's going to happen. You see him walking around. I don't see a boot or a cast or anything. So in theory, you'd anticipate that essentially it was just, okay, let's shut him down until conference season. That's what I expect, at least. So it's like we're talking about all these guys and all this success, and one of our, seemingly better players, we've seen how good he can be all around defensively and offensively, and he hasn't even been on the floor. And even when he was still finding his footing. So that's encouraging. I think the team being a little bit shorthanded as far as bigs go, especially when Andre Weir was down a few games ago. Still getting it seems like they're easing in Sam Onu with maybe there's some sort of not medical issue, but something to consider there. Also, just Weir has been playing a way that makes you sort of not really mind the absence, right? He's been filling those shoes plenty, and Rivers playing 4 in the 5. Zach Anderson has played the 5 in small ball lineups and done very well. So you haven't really necessarily needed that huge body that Onu in theory could provide. So this team is so damn deep. But I mean, just looking forward, it's a weird schedule this year. Like we said, usually non-conference play starts in the new year. This time it's actually New Year's Eve against Jacksonville. So the good thing about that, in my opinion, is it's a Saturday game and it's at 1 p.m. We don't get a lot of those games. So I don't know. We're gonna be there, but I don't know if it's a tailgate situation or if it's a hangout, right? But regardless, we'll have live tweeting and everything. But I guess any final thoughts on either the game today or just how the non-con is gone, or just how what we hope to see in conference play?
Yeah, overall, I'm just like very thrilled with like how deep we are, and you know, some of the guys that are, in my opinion, very good and like playing like key roles on the side, like Cato and Rivers and Demir Bishop. Like these guys are like guys that would have been like studs in the last few years. So it's like just crazy to think about like these guys coming off, not necessarily the bench. I know Demir and Cato have been starting, but just like these guys that are playing like key parts of this team. And it's just cool to see the camaraderie on this team, the what this coaching staff has been able to continue to bring, and like just such a everyone's bought in. It feels like it doesn't even tonight. Like when we were down, it still felt like there was like this unity amongst everyone, and like we're still just desperately fighting for like some of those like loose balls and things like that. So it was just cool to see in the non-conference, and then we'll see, you know, how non-conference go or how conference goes. Sorry, and we've got some good teams this year. We got Queens that's kind of going off right now, and you know, some of these other teams that are beating SEC teams and things like that. So you know, I guess we'll be really. I believe that the games we've been in, even like for example tonight against Canisius, like the close games, you know, we're really preparing for conference by doing this, because we're gonna have a bunch of those games, a bunch of these close games that are gonna be battle dogfights. And I think tonight was actually, as stressful as it was, really good for us, really good for our team to go through that and you know, come out on top. And I think we're gonna see, hopefully not too many of those, but also, you know, for the entertainment's sake, I do hope that. But you hope we come out on top.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think conference is always tough. So there's a lot of good teams in conference this year. Stetson, like you said, newcomer Queens. We don't know what to expect from Austin P, but any of these teams, any given night, can give us a run for the money. Liberty, of course, they're always the thorn in our side. Bellarmine last year, they're going to be good again. One thing to note that I think we all know about, but it's forgot to been mentioned, is the fact that this season so far we have not had any consecutive losses, which is major. Like, you know, the 3 losses we had have been one loss, and that's back to like a win streak. I think right now we're like 8 of the last 9 we've won, I believe, because I think the last game they posted a blurb that was 7 of the 8 we've won. So kudos to the coaching staff, kudos to the team for turning it around when we do get a loss. You know, we haven't seen 2 in a row. That's something to be super proud about. There's not much more I have to say other than I'm ready for conference and excited to see what it brings.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Elliot. I think I want to say I tweeted that before last home game or something of that note. Or it was post game. It was the bounce back sort of nature that I think that kudos goes to someone like a coaching staff, right? Pat Chambers, and just being able to rally the troops, right? Not letting losses pile up. And that's something we've seen in the past, where it's like you get in a losing funk and then it's hard to get out of. This has been, it's a pimple, you know, it's a minor inconvenience is what a loss has been this year so far. Right. A speed bump is probably a lot prettier than a pimple. But anyways, that's definitely something to look into. One question that I did want to ask Chambers, unfortunately we didn't get to do a presser with him, but I'm just wondering if, I think in a lot of ways you schedule your non-conference to prepare for conference play. So just which teams maybe were scheduled that we played with certain conference teams in mind, right? Like, for example, this is totally me I'm not even guessing, I'm just using an example. But if Canisius runs a similar style of offense as, say, Stetson or, say, Canisius or something, right? Because it'd be interesting to kind of see, how did we stack up? How did we do? Go rewatch those games even and see, okay, they gave us fits when they pressed us, or when we had to do this to that. So it's just, more things to consider, but overall we're all in agreement. This is exciting this year so far. We hope that continues into conference play. As always, we'll be here to, keep providing your podcasts for FGCU men's basketball. Yeah, stay tuned. Keep in touch, and
have a happy New Year.
Have a happy New Year and a happy holiday. Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy whatever you celebrate. Happy day. Have a good one, and wings up.
Bye.
Caleb Cato.